I went to a correctional facility, or in other words, to prison. We used to buy goods at the dump, and one of those goods, one of the first, was hangers. Then we added mannequins, chairs, various ones from banks and other institutions. And at one point, it turned out that we had a crazy amount of these goods, in volume, in quantity, in any measurement. And our warehouse just couldn't keep up, in the sense that we constantly had to expand the space. We rented a hangar next to our warehouse, we hired more people, but it was clear that something had to be done, otherwise we wouldn't be able to keep expanding like this for long. The staff was already very large, and it was all getting quite complicated. How could we solve this problem? Find a lot of workers cheaply and somehow efficiently process these goods. Because the hangers from the dump needed to be sorted and gone through, the chairs needed repairs and also sorting. In other words, everything had to be put in order. And only after that could we sell it, whether it was equipment, furniture, or anything else. An idea came to me, as always, not from this planet, just like everything else that comes to my mind. I went to a correctional facility, in other words, to prison, because I had once heard that you could make arrangements there and that people serving time could work. So I found the entrance to the administrative building, walked up to a little window, and I said to her, "Hello?" She says, "Hello, who are you here for?" or something like that. But I had no idea who I needed. I said, "I have a job?" I don't know why that particular wording came to my mind. She said, "I don't understand you. What are you saying?" Well, I said, "I heard that, if there's work, then there are people here who might not be able to work." Basically, I was mumbling something very unclear, and I thought, God, how ridiculous and stupid I must look. She said, "Okay, wait a minute, I'll call someone now." He comes up and says, "What do you need?" I say, "Well, look, I have, 3 truckloads of hangers. They're dirty. Some are broken. They need to be sorted, gone through, washed, cleaned, in general, put in order. I want to pay money for this, so maybe you have people who could do it." To which he says to me, "Okay." It's not like he had any doubts. He just immediately, right off the bat, says, yes, we can do it. We handle all that. But that's all minor stuff compared to how surprised I was when he told me he needed my company details and that they would send me an official invoice. "You will pay into the Treasury, to the State Department." I was so shocked by this because I was sure we would be working for cash. I thought I would just pay him money under the table and that would be it. Hardly anyone knows this. I actually think no one knows this at all. Prisoners, those serving time in prison, can actually work and earn some money. Of course, it's a very small amount from the state. Then, when they get out of prison, they are paid some money that they earned while serving their sentence. And that makes sense because a person doesn't get released with absolutely no money at all. Yes, obviously it's not a large sum, but at least it's something. And we brought over all our tons of stuff there. Hangers, chairs. In other words, they did it incredibly well, incredibly fast, and in the end, incredibly cheaply. We could never have achieved such results ourselves, sorted through so many trucks, hangers, and chairs so quickly, and received them in decent condition. But overall, this kind of approach is quite unorthodox. It gave us an incredible boost.